I'm wondering if you worry about who will take care of your kids if something, God forbid, were to happen to both Solo and yourself. She said, we have a large community of apostolic Lutherans who do not believe in birth control. But many of the women and babies I cared for made the opposite choice based on their faith, despite the fact that their health is affected. Hi Sarah, thank you for this opportunity. I love your family. I see you mention or show Solo being hands-on at home. Did you have to get him to be involved in hands-on, or was it a personal conviction? I am being made to believe that African men are not inclined to be that way, and my husband is not. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm answering your questions. This is an Ask Sarah video, which I tried to do on Tuesdays, although I missed a couple, but sometimes I miss them. But here I am once again. If you want to send in your question, you can send it to AskSarah@ourtribeofmany.com. And especially if you're patient, because it takes me a while to get to all of them. There's so many in there, and I really appreciate you guys sending in your questions. It's been such a fun series for myself and Solo when I bring him along. Someone said the other day in one of my comments that I need to film one of these with my sister-in-law, Jill. Jill, if you're watching, you're probably not watching, but definitely we need to get together and film one of these. It would be fun. There's some good ones in here. So the first one is from Lauren. I'm sweating a little bit, and by the way, I'm drinking some kombucha, which I made last time with cranberry juice, and it's a little, it's tart. Probably won't do that one again, but it's probably good for me. And I'm loving my room refresh. It's so quiet and relaxing in here. It's no quieter for sure, but the peaceful space makes me feel better. I worked all morning in the RV, but someone's coming any moment to rent it out. Really loving renting our RV out though. So surprised. We went from a few months ago being ready to sell it for sure to just trying it on a rental site. And the first couple times felt a little awkward and a lot of time, and or do we have everything they need, all that stuff. But after those couple times, we've really gotten to a good rhythm. We have great relationships with the people that fix the interior stuff in town and people that fix the outside, anything like with the engine or the truck itself. And yeah, so it's going really well. I'm surprised. In fact, we went from almost selling it to now thinking, do we need another one? Just kidding, we didn't really think that. But one of the people, we've had just excellent reviews on all our rentals. It's gone so well. But one of the people asked us, like, do you have other ones? Like, other ones? Apparently that's a thing. Sometimes people own a number of them and keep renting them out because it really is a great business. It's kind of like the Airbnb business for RVers. So anyway, let's get to the questions. Lauren asked, hi Sarah, I've been following your channel for a few years now and been tremendously blessed by it. We're full-time RVing, well there you go. Traveling family of 6 and would love to visit your church next time we come to Nebraska, but don't want to invade your privacy. My question is it creepy if out-of-towners come to your service? Lauren, not at all. People come all the time from out of town. Like, we're on I-80, so people drive through. The only thing I don't like is when people come and I didn't get a chance to meet them. I think sometimes people see me busy because I have a lot of children and I'm involved in things and maybe don't want to say hi or Solo met them and then they just leave. I would love to meet you. If you come to our service, please stick around. A lot of the people that work like the greeting and front desk area, when they know someone's there from the channel, they'll make sure and connect me with them. But yes, please come say hi if you're in town. We absolutely love that. Not invasion of privacy. If I look busy, I am not too busy to meet you, I promise. Sometimes I run right after church because I always have to get my grandma home in time for her lunch. But I still have time to say hi, I promise. Okay, Stacy said, I hate to be morbid, but I'm wondering if you worry about who will take care of your kids if something, God forbid, were to happen to both Solo and yourself. We just had our 5th baby, all under 10, and we struggle with the thought of burdening someone with all our kids in our absence. How have you and Solo approached this? Thanks, Stacy. I would say 2 things come up whenever we discuss it. One is we do have a plan. We have a lot of siblings that are willing and able. So we have a plan of who would take them, but someone also to just be a decision person in case that situation didn't work out. It has been a question a couple times like, wow, we have a lot of children. If something happened, we travel, different things like that. But overall, we come back to the same thing that we always come back to. We pray about whether the Lord would want us to keep having children or to stop. It is definitely something we just don't decide on our own based on feelings, and definitely not based on fear. And so we always weigh whatever we're thinking through those litmus tests, I guess. We like to involve the Lord in our decisions, especially decisions that impact generations. To me, not having kids because of who would take care of them should both of us die, which is such a rare occurrence. However, it is a possibility. I mean, one of the things Solo does when he helps families is he helps them with getting life insurance a lot of times. So it's something we talk about and face for sure, and definitely have a plan for. So can you explain, Jen, this is from Jen, sorry. Can you explain more about zones in your home? What zones do you have? Who does them? Do you rotate? How often do you do zones during the day? I would love to explain more about zones. Zones have been so great for us. We do them mostly around our meal times. That seems to work the best for us. I have a freebie, just like a chart of what we've used for zones, like which ones at what ages, sort of suggestions. Generally, they're assigned one job unless it's pretty easy and quick, and then they're assigned maybe 2 zones where they're just in charge of that area. So whenever that area is messy, I know who to call. But we generally look at them just after meal times because a lot of them revolve around meals in the kitchen. So like, for instance, right now, my 11-year-old Eli, he's in charge of the table. So after meals, he just clears it all off. Or just sometime during the day, maybe if it's just really messy and we need to get something done, I can call him. He knows where everything goes. It's on the table usually, and he knows how to do his job very quickly because he's been doing it for 9 months. Actually, he was doing it for more than that because he had another zone and he switched with one of his brothers because he didn't like it. He wanted to go back to the table. So he is a master of that table. He can get it clean, spotless in so little time. That's one of the things I love about zones, is they really master the area that they're in charge of. You can click down below in the link, and I will put I'll put a link for that free chart that you can have that just kind of, and it does explain it a little better of what ages, because we have kids doing stuff all the way down to 3 and 4. So it helps them to master the area, feel confident in the area, and it also keeps down the fights because we're not saying, who's in charge of dishes this time? No, everybody knows who's in charge of dishes because they're always in charge of dishes for like a whole year at a time. All right, I just had to run outside. The people for the RV got here and I wanted to help Solo show them around, the little quirks and all the things. So it was very nice family. They're taking a brand new baby down south, so to Nashville. That's a long drive. Melanie asked, how is intuitive eating going? How do you stay focused on your goals when life happens? It's going good overall. I like the freedom. I cannot imagine going back to dieting. I'm really sold on it 100%. There's a book I've been reading that helps me stay focused more on it, which I haven't been reading the last few weeks, and I've been less focused on it. I wanted something that just helps me focus on it so I can change the bad habits that I have. And I'll tell you, the worst habit I have is eating too fast and eating distracted, which I think goes hand in hand because I have a lot of people in this house. I'm always eating distracted or eating standing up. And I noticed that if I sit down, really focus on the food and that I'm eating, I come away more satisfied with a lot less, and I can slow down better. It's just the same problem I always have, is that I'm eating on the run and I'm eating too fast. And so then you don't feel satisfied, or you're eating too much before you realize you're too full. I really believe that I haven't figured it out yet because I still do that, or I haven't broken those habits yet. I definitely don't feel like I'm at my body's natural weight, what it should be, and it's all because of that, literally. I don't struggle with cravings or overeating cravings. I will link the book. I will say I'm only halfway through it, so I can't vouch for the whole thing, but it's very Christian book too. If you don't like reading Christian things, you would not like this book. But it does really help me focus every day when I read it. It's supposed to be 1 chapter a day for like 30 days, I think. And when I read it, it helps me remember what I'm supposed to be doing. So even though it's not teaching me like anything groundbreaking at all, it really does help me focus on doing well. So I think when I finish this, if I like the whole thing, I will probably just do it again. I just need to make the habit of reading it every day. Next one is from Mo from Nigeria. I have a sister named Mo in Kenya, so that's cool. She said, hi Sarah, thank you for this opportunity. I love your family. I see you mention or show Solo being hands-on at home and with the kids, and it warms my heart because it looks so natural. My question is, did you have to get him to be involved in hands-on, or was it a personal conviction? I ask that because I am being made to believe that African men are not inclined to be that way, and my husband is not. When he interacts with our baby, it looks like he's trying so hard, and he hardly gets involved in the household other than those intermittent interactions. I don't believe that's the way it's meant to be, but what's your opinion? Thanks, Mo from Nigeria. I did not have to do anything to have my husband be very hands-on. It must be a personal conviction, although I think generations ago in Kenya, it was very common for the men not to do anything, even maybe one generation ago. But I know a lot of young men, young fathers in Kenya that are very, very hands-on. So I don't know, it may just be different for Nigerian men or right now. But also there are a lot, probably, I guess I do know one Nigerian dad, and I think his wife is a very good friend of mine, but I think he's pretty hands-on, so I don't know, I'd have to ask her. But I know one Nigerian granddad who wasn't very much, and he was off to work, and that was his part. So I think Solo was pretty naturally had just that inclination himself, and he wanted to be a hands-on dad that's very involved. It bugs him when he's not around much to be that way, but a lot of his friends here are the same way too, so I don't know what to tell you for advice, but it's great if you're surrounding yourself with couples like that too, I guess, because then he sees that it's not, if he's been taught that dads don't do any of that, then maybe some of that stereotype would be broken down when he sees dads that are doing that. I don't know. But yeah, that would be frustrating and hard, I think, for sure. Okay, the next one is kind of a difficult question. Let me take a deep breath. Dawn wrote a nice email. I followed your channel for 3 years now. Love seeing the growth of your family and your homesteading journey. She said, not by my own choice, I became a single mother of 3. And I can't imagine how I could have done it with the 10 I intended. I love that you're showing that not all large Christian families are like those we've seen in the media. Instead, you show a real family with struggles and triumphs. Thank you. One question I have that I'd like to know your thoughts on is your desire for more babies. I'm a nurse with experience in both labor and delivery and NICU at a rural regional medical center, and I've taken care of moms and babies who suffer from preeclampsia, HELLP syndrome, and the effects on both mom and baby, some of them catastrophic. My own decision to stop after my 3rd baby was made with this consideration, but many of the women and babies I cared for made the opposite choice based on their faith, despite the fact that their health is affected. She said, we have a large community of apostolic Lutherans who do not believe in birth control. If I'm not being too intrusive, I'd like to hear yours and Solo's perspective on that, particularly since you are a nurse who has experienced hypertension in your recent pregnancies. Love and blessings from Michigan, Dawn. Okay, Dawn, I think I'm going to go into this in a little more detail with Solo in an upcoming video, because you asked to hear his thoughts too. But I will say, what I will say is, just like I mentioned in the previous question, we like to make decisions based on faith, not fear. And we really do pray about whether to continue having children or not. Now, all that being said, I wanted a very big family from when I was young. It sounded like you did too. And I don't regret any one of my children, of course. I absolutely love having a big family. It is so much fun. There's so many benefits. I did have very bad complications with Hope. I had extremely high blood pressure that I had to be on medications for. After I had Hope, I had to have her a month early, 4.5 weeks early about, and she was 5 pounds. And it was a really difficult pregnancy because I was in the doctor's office all the time, hooked up to monitors for tests and all these things. And afterward, I remember going for my postpartum checkup, and my doctor looked me in the face, and she had been complaining about my age and the amount of children I have had for the whole pregnancy and telling me how terrible it was on my body. And she looked me in the face and said, you could die if you choose to have another baby. You need to get to a cardiologist, get your heart taken care of. I really recommend that you don't have any more, because it could be life and death for you and your child. That was my 8th baby. I have 11 babies, by the way. I did not receive that from her at all, because and I'm not trying to say that I don't believe doctors at all. I'm a registered nurse. I actually put a lot of stock in the medical community and what doctors say. I loved this doctor. This was the 4th baby I delivered with her. I had my first 4 with a different doctor who also told me that I should quit having babies after my 4th. I just did not believe what she said. And I'll tell you, I didn't believe it because I had the exact same issues with my first child, and nobody told me to quit having babies. The exact same issues. I had the same high blood pressure. I had to be induced early. I had to be induced a little earlier with Hope, but it was the same thing with my pregnancy with Judah, and my blood pressure was even higher than with Hope. I just didn't receive it from her because I knew medically that it is a fluke when it happens like that you just have extremely high blood pressure. And for me, it's really a fluke because it happens in my first trimester usually, and usually pregnancy-induced hypertension doesn't happen till your second trimester. Mine always happens, both times rather, it's happened in my first, and it's been extremely high, needed medication. And after I give birth and after several months, when I start losing the weight, my blood pressure comes back down to normal. And I knew maybe I could die from having another baby, but it wasn't because of my age. She was telling me it's because of my age and how many kids I had. And I knew that was not right because nobody told me that when I had my first, because it was my first. And I do think there is a lot of pressure from the medical community sometimes. I've had it twice that pressured me a lot to stop having children because of what it could do to my body. And so by that one, I really loved that doctor too. She was moving on to a different job after that, and it was good timing for me because there's no way I could have gone back to her with a successive pregnancy. So when I prayed about it, we felt a lot of peace about not accepting that. I had no blood pressure problems with my next baby. My blood pressure, it took a little bit for it to come down, a little longer than after Judah, my first pregnancy, but I was older. I was in my late 30s, I guess. And then it did come down, and then I got pregnant soon after that with Destiny, and I had no blood pressure problems with her. And so, and I've had some blood pressure issues that make me deliver like a week or two early since then, but it's not been like on medication extremely high, nothing like that. That is how I really feel about it, is like sometimes I have a friend who had HELLP, and you mentioned HELLP. It is very serious. She was in the ICU for a week and a half. It was her first. Nobody told her you should never have another baby. They were just cautious. The next, she had a couple more, and she did not die in those pregnancies. She just had to, they just planned inductions a month early because she had HELLP syndrome. HELLP is very dangerous. If you don't know about that, HELLP, I just think there can be some maybe overcaution. It's hard for me to get my words right because I'm not trying to offend people here or also make people not think wisely about things, but also, we don't have to just take the first opinion we hear all the time, and we can look into things a little more, and I did not believe that doctor. So the next one, the subject line says, hopefully an easy question. Yes, hopefully. Jessica, she said, our oldest has been in private Christian school for 2 years, and we made the decision to keep her home to homeschool while we work on big financial goals. We're almost debt free. Yay! I know you've done videos on homeschooling, but what advice do you have for someone who's just starting out? All the information is so overwhelming, we don't know where to start. My husband works full time and I stay at home with the girls. He's very involved with them, of course, but most of the responsibility will be with me. It is very overwhelming at first, especially if you're jumping out of a traditional school setting. I think my biggest recommendation is, you've already probably started by now because I'm so late on getting to this question, but my biggest recommendation is to find support in your area. Homeschooling is growing like crazy. There's so many people homeschooling probably in your area. It's so great to have people like face-to-face to talk to. If not, or in addition to, I would find an online community of homeschoolers that can be really supportive. I love Made to Homeschool. They are a great community. I'll link them down below, but it's so good to have people you can ask specific questions of. Have a lot of grace with yourself. Find other people that are doing it. You're going to have your own way, so you don't want to model it after anyone else. It'll be something specific for your family, your situation, your daughters, and yourself. I like to personally pick curriculum based off my own learning style because then I can adapt it to my kids' learning style, but it just helps me because I don't want to switch for each kid. You'll kind of figure out what's right for you, what's right for your kids, time-wise. It's great to have routines, strong routines. That really helps kids. It really helps you. It helps to get things done. And just a little progress every day makes big progress in the end. I think that is something really good to keep in mind. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question today. Remember, before I get to this one, which is a really good one, if you want to send me your questions, I would love it if you videoed them. Turn your phone sideways like this. Just send me a question on an email in video form. I would love that because then I would show it on my channel. But obviously we didn't have any videos today, which is totally fine too. I understand not everybody wants to be on camera. Listen, I don't want to be on camera half the time. Just kidding. Lindy asked, I'm a schooling mom to 8 kids, 13 down to 7 months. My question is, do you ever feel left out or that your family isn't invited to many places due to your family size? My kids are mostly well behaved and I think our family of 10, but I still think our family of 10 overwhelms people and we don't get invited to things like we used to when we had just a few kids. Do you feel like your family size has made it hard to make friends or connect with friends? Lindy, yes. We don't get invited to hardly anybody's house anymore. Now, we were just at someone's house the other day and it was so fun. And I had to just warn her that a lot of our kids are little. They don't eat that much because it is so intimidating to invite a family of 13 right now or 12, but invite a family of 12 over for dinner when you have 2 kids. And it was so fun to go hang out with them. They were so gracious to do it, to have us over, so brave. But yeah, we don't get invited hardly anywhere anymore, and it's totally fine with us because what we started doing is inviting other people over. So it has not affected our lives in making friends because we have people over to our house. One day a week is like, kids, you can bring all your friends over. We have families over. We have people in our house and all the time. More so even since we moved out to this property with a tiny house. We just host outside. We host all over the place. We squish into our in our dining room. We always have people over here. And so I think that's what you really have to do. It can be so intimidating for other people. I really do understand that. When Solo and I were first married, we had a family over that had 5 kids. And I'll never forget it. We did not have kids ourselves. And we had a family from church over. And they said they never were invited anywhere because they had 5 kids. And we were like, really? That's crazy. So it's real and it happens probably before you have the 8 kids that you have. There's a family I follow on Instagram. I'm friends with her. I'm online friends with her. We'll hopefully connect in person one of these days. But it's Julie Crecky, I think. Creaky. They have a large family. They just had their 10th baby and they have people over to their house all the time to stay, and they have a super tiny house. I'll link her channel down below, but yeah, they don't let it stop them in any way at all. And they host big fall festivals for all their friends. I love watching them. They're so good at hospitality. So there's someone to check out if you want some encouragement in that area. Thank you guys for watching today. I really appreciate you being here and watching me ramble on and on, listening to me. I love to hear your thoughts. You can just be kind in the comments section. Whenever I talk about having more children, that's when some of the mean ones come out sometimes, but I know you guys will be great today. Guys, we'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.